everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. If you find value in this episode, please like, subscribe, and leave us a comment. You can also check out our past episodes on BackstageBanterThePodcast.com.
Those are my favorite words. Recording in progress.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, finally. Hello, my friend Brian. Nice to see you again, sir, on the podcast. Podcast airwaves? What are these?
I know.
Streaming? What do we call it? Frequencies? What do we?
I mean, all of the above.
Yeah. I am so excited today because I've been waiting for this amazing friend and amazing woman to come join our airwaves, our frequency waves. Kate Poundstone. Last time you and I worked together, Kate, it was at the Ironstone Amphitheater. Up in Murphy's, California.
Yes.
Where we did a bunch of fucking rock shows.
A lot, yes.
A lot of rock shows. And Kate ran the labor. I mean, it was the stage manager. Not only ran the labor, but just ran the deck to the point where, as a production manager, you go in your office and you sit, right? For the most part, if you're not a control freak.
Yeah.
But I was just saying before we started the recording that the first time I saw Kate on stage, like you know how you go to school for the first day of school, and you're like, who are these people, right? And what do you know about me, and what do I know about you? And you kind of do this dance, and I try to stay out of the way, like I'm like I don't even go on the stage, like kind of thing. Like I'm that scared of, not scared, but respectful of who is this guy, right? Management on the deck, But when I heard Kate for the first time, give direction, I would put it as that. I was just like, fuck yes, girl.
Mm-hmm. You don't have to worry about anything.
Oh man, no, it was just, but the respect that she got, because the people listen, these guys listen for the most part, like 95% of them, right?
Yeah.
Pay attention, and they know that Kate's the boss, and that comes out of a deep respect for the work and for the work that you do, because it's obviously, this is a male-dominated industry, Kate.
100%, yes.
Yeah. So we'll get to that part.
Yeah.
Because I want to hear about those challenges, But let's talk a little bit about where you have in my other classes, like where you started, because the military, you have that in you, and we'll go from there. Just kind of launch it off. All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
I started in the military. There's a lot to my background, a lot of craziness in my background, but I started off in the military, which definitely gave me, my not dominance, but my presence, which gave me my confidence, my presence, all of those things. When I got out of the military, I was working in a bar that was actually a stagehand bar, and
I don't think I knew that.
Yeah, and myself and my mouth was like, yeah, you guys are a bunch of little. I could do what you do. They're like, hey,
we can cuss. First, we can cuss on this podcast.
Okay.
Because Brian, we are so proud that our podcast on the homepage of Spotify has the capital E for explicit language in our podcast. So we made it now. Yeah, we made it. Yeah, so feel free. Let it roll. Yeah.
I just was telling them they were just a bunch of pansies and pussies, and I could do what they did, and they're like, all right, little girl, come on out. And they put me in the back of a truck, and that was about when I was about 20 years old. So
where was that? Where was that?
That was in Fresno, California.
In Fresno. So you've been California based, kind of mid California for most of your life, and grow up.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And now live in paradise. By the way, if I can just see the background of where she lives now, right?
So we just moved to Groveland, California. Yeah.
And where's that? Where's Groveland?
They call it the gateway to Yosemite. We're like 24 miles from one of the entrances to Yosemite.
Is that up the 4? That's not up the 4, is it?
No, it's up the 120.
The 120. Gotcha.
Yeah, we're on the other side. We're on the other side of the bridge from Murphy's.
Oh, okay. Yeah. It's a spectacular place, Brian.
It's absolutely.
I've driven through there several times on my way to Yosemite. So it's gorgeous.
I always get a big rental car, and I get up before the sunrise, usually on loading day. When I was
remember
younger,
that.
and I would take my sunrise drive. Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
I
So good
definitely
times.
remember that.
Yeah.
But no, yeah,
So
I did. I just
so you're
I
in the
started in the
bar.
back of a I
Yeah.
started in the back of a truck, and I just worked my way up and just never looked back.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
been my passion for many, many years,
Yeah.
and 25
Well,
years.
right. Yeah.
I mean 10 years.
There
Yeah.
you go. You're celebrating the
It's
12th
more than 20.
anniversary of your
Yeah, it's more
10-year
than
birthday. Your 10-year
yeah,
birthday. Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
more than that. But
Yeah, yeah.
hey,
So you weren't apprehensive. You were just like, "Fuck it, I'm going in the
yeah.
truck." And
Yeah.
here, guys better catch this case because it's coming at you, right? Like,
Absolutely, absolutely. And
yeah,
it was, and
yeah,
I always, until I got a little bit older and got into management, I was always, the woman on the crew that was like, I'm stronger than you are, and I can do this myself, and
yeah.
whatever. And I
Yeah,
just never wanted any help. Wanted to learn, not help. I mean, of course, I wanted
yeah.
help because that's how you learn.
You
But
ask for help when you need it, but
yeah,
don't
absolutely,
give me
absolutely.
gratuitous help. Don't come over
Yeah.
and feel sorry for me.
Yeah,
Fuck that.
the cute
Yeah,
20,
exactly.
the cute 25-year-old girl in the
Yeah,
corner,
yeah.
like you're not gonna not
Yeah, you
happening.
belong
So
in catering. You go be the tour accountant's
yeah,
assistant or some
yeah,
shit,
pretty
right?
much. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
that's it.
And
That is
that
how I
quickly
felt in the
changed.
beginning. Yeah,
Yeah, but
it
that quickly
definitely changed.
changed. It
Yeah.
quickly changed. Yeah, it quickly changed. And you saw that sort of evolution in yourself too, right? And
Oh, 100%.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So, bravo, my friend.
Well, thank you.
And you continue to, and you are an
I've evolved even
entrepreneur.
further. Yeah, I've
Yeah.
evolved even further since. Yeah.
You have worked with the cranky Roger Waters, I believe, in which he's not going to be
Yes.
listening to this. So
Yes.
from
No.
Pink
Yeah.
Floyd, but
Yeah.
but
Gosh, we hope not. Yeah.
yeah, right, or no, yeah, no, we hope not. But have had a lot of Brian and I just yesterday were talking about the volatility of our industry, really,
Yeah. Yeah.
and having to make transitions when we least expect it, right?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, our friend Matt Stern is a Broadway stage manager, and in the beginning, he went to Broadway with a show called Play On, which was a musical from the Old Globe Theater that was going to be an open-ended run, and they thought, this is it. They sold 60 performances and had to close. And he was like, oh, fuck, right? Like that.
Yeah.
Uh-oh, what do
And
I
that
do
was like
now?
his
Right?
ticket to Broadway too.
Yeah, yeah. So how do we prepare for those kinds? Now where you are in your life, is it easier? How do you have a game plan and a backup plan and another backup plan like some people might, or are you more like me where you're just kind of for me, and people think I'm insane, that I kind of just organically trust that something will happen?
I'm exactly that, Jay.
Yeah.
The really fucked up part of the industry is how much you do have to be that chameleon, and you have
That's a good way to put it.
yeah, you have to be a chameleon. You have to, be able to go with the ebb and flow of the industry. I mean, shit, we just all lived through COVID.
Oh my gosh, right?
And what that happened, I mean, we woke up one day, we all had gigs, and then, the next day they were all canceled.
Yeah.
And, we were stuck. And I mean, I didn't think I was going to survive that. I didn't think that the industry was going to survive that.
Yeah.
And
You
there
and
have been
both.
there has been a lot of things, there have been a lot of things that have changed, from the changes that we have had to do with COVID, and
Yeah.
and it actually has made me kind of move on from.
I was going to ask you.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you. Did it make you take a pause and go like, I don't have to fucking work that hard? I mean, I do, but I don't. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
What do I have to prove?
I think I work 10 times harder now.
Yeah.
But instead
Different
of that.
ways.
Yeah, it's more spread out, but it's not that, complete, total fucking chaos of waking up at 6 o'clock in the morning, being on stage and not going to bed until 3 or 4 a.m.
Yeah.
After the show's totally loaded out.
Yeah.
But now I just
And that's sitting still. I mean, but you toured too, right? Did you tour with Roger?
I did the majority of the tours that I've done have been with exhibitions. So I haven't done any music tours.
Okay.
But I do. Yeah, I'm actually touring a lot right now.
And what was your? What are you doing? Where are you?
I'm a production coordinator for an exhibition company. So I'm on the road with quite a few different shows. Instead selling them, taking them out, and selling them, taking them out. I was only home last year 2 months.
Wow.
I left on January 6th this year, and I just got home last week.
Wow. Okay.
And I leave again on the 1st. And
with the same company? Same company?
Yes, it's all with the same company. Yeah.
Excellent.
And again, I'm freelance with this company as well.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the crazy part again about having to be organic and amenable, and you know, having to be able to be that chameleon in freelance work is, you know, it can go away in 2 seconds.
Oh man.
And you're
always looking for the next gig, right? Like it's a full-time job looking for full-time work, right?
Yeah.
We were talking about like we are entrepreneurs as freelancers. Don't kid yourself. You know, you got to think.
Absolutely.
You know, reinvent the box. I think we talked about. Don't think outside the box, but reinvent it sometimes.
It's always really great to work with freelancers though, because they're. I would say most of the freelancers I work with are on top of their shit, like 9 times out of 10. You know, because you can always tell when you're working with someone who's like in a house gig or someone who's working in like a long-term, like full-time gig versus a freelancer. Because the way they approach the work, like how hard they work, their work ethic is like, it's just, you can just tell a difference. Because freelancers, like your reputation is everything as a freelancer.
Absolutely.
You know?
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah. And it gets there ahead of time. Sometimes your reputation gets to where you go before you do, right? So keeping your nose clean, as they say, you know, on the social media with the solo cups and partying, you know. But so Kate, this is one company, and do you feel confident like this is a good space for you? And did you take any time off in that year, or did you like
last year? No, not really. It wasn't. That wasn't really a thing, and I'm not really doing it this year either.
Yeah. But you feel better. You feel better because where you're at, you know, getting the house, you know, moving forward with certain things in life. And, you know, it's, you know, I want to talk one thing about exhibitions because I've done one in my life. I babysat the Bodies exhibition. I don't know if you remember that, where it's just all peeled skin.
I installed that in Australia. Yeah.
Oh fuck! Well, they hired me to like oversee the load in, and then they're like, "Hey, do you want to be the ops guy, like you know, and close up at the end of the night?" And I'm like, "Yeah, no problem." Until the first night that I had to close that and turn the lights off, and all those little eyeballs were. Oh man, that's getting me.
That's one of my favorites. I love that exhibition. It's great.
Yeah, is it still? It's still going, right? It's still doing its thing. Yeah,
it's definitely still going.
Oh my gosh, how funny! How funny. Anyway, that's my foray into the exhibition world. So at some point, Kate, you know, running labor, doing labor, you see what other people are doing wrong.
Yes.
Because we've had those conversations of the frustrations of the labor company that was working with us, you know, back in the day. And it's a tough industry, you know, because Jay,
I have to interrupt you because I want to go back to what Brian said is I think that the problem with labor companies now are that all of the people that work for these labor companies are, you know, they're signing on to an app and they're like, yeah, I'll go over there for a few hours. And it doesn't really matter. They're just bodies, you know, and when you're a freelance worker and you're going in and you're there to prove something and you're there to do your job, you know, there's a different expectation. And with these labor companies, like you're just a body. And though I came up, you know, working in labor companies and working for the union and things like that, but, you know, 90% of the people that work for these labor companies can really give a fuck less. They're just there for a paycheck. And they want to go I worked on stage with this guy. And
the same thing happens with the security companies. You know, they're get the guy down the barricade. He's making minimum wage. As soon as a fight breaks out, he's like, I'm out of here. You know, which I don't blame. I mean, but the labor industry, and which is why I actually started my company with a labor company. It was never my intention, but the local labor company down here was just hit and miss.
Yeah.
You know, and some would still smell of alcohol.
Absolutely.
You know, the meth was, you know, there was a lot of stuff going on. And I'm working for $1 million clients like Mercy Hospital, you know, and I can't take the chance. And what I remember, I was sitting at home and I'm like, fuck, I have all these fucking students. You know, why don't I just hire some of the students to help?
And your students are badass too.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, and it was only about my shows. I never sought out to do anybody else's shows.
Yeah.
And it's continued now for 10 years. And I have a few clients, but they're great. You know, Viejas Casino, 10 years now. I opened a cleaning company of all freaking things, which is bizarre, on accident, you know, but that being right in the right place at the right time and ready kind of thing, you know, there's always, we forget that last R, that we got to be ready, you know, and the guy that had the labor contract at the casino, we have a 2,800 seat outdoor space, that I helped him design many years ago before I got fired. Another story.
We got stories, Jay.
That's in a textbook. That one's in a textbook. When I got the cake that said "Good luck, Jay," and was told to leave, the guy had a heart attack, and he also had the contract for setting up and tearing down the 2,300 chairs, which is no joke. It's 8 people for 8 hours to the label, and the vice president of entertainment, who used to be the intern many years ago, who's now vice president, he came up to me, he goes, "I need you to open a cleaning company." Just like that. I go, "What are you talking about? I don't it's not what I do." He goes, "I don't give a shit. I have a show in 2 days. You can do it." And in 2 days, I called my old friend from the Coors Amphitheater who ran my janitorial service. She had me 4 people, and we've had the contract for 5 years now.
Well, yeah, and you know, it's as you know, I owned a labor company, and we just shut our doors. And there were a lot of there's a lot of problems. There's a lot of problems with labor companies. There's a lot of liability. There's a lot of trust.
Workers' comp insurance.
Workman's comp. There's a lot of even trust that goes into it when, you know, you're working with, you know, a partner, you know, and
right.
And then you see, and then you think you know someone, and you think you know them very well, and then you see their true colors shine through. And you know, not only does it destroy your friendship, it destroys your business, and it potentially could have destroyed my name. And I believe that I walked away at the right time. I believe that I took the steps that I needed to take in order to sever myself from the problematic things that were happening.
Right.
But again, I mean, having a labor company, as you know, it's a bit of a nightmare, and especially living in Northern California, I got to say.
It's hard to get people, right? It's hard to get.
Really hard to get people. And now as well, you know, a lot of the clients don't want to pay the high dollar, you know, that you need to charge for the overhead, for the insurance, for this, for that. Yeah. And you can go and work at McDonald's for $25 an hour now.
Right. And then the part about chasing money, which is another story that you and I were kind of recalling, is that here I am thinking I did a great thing by we're going to refer my friend Kate to get this big labor contract to load in a bunch of Christmas lights. And the company seems solid. It were Disney people, and you got you the gig. You got you the gig, and then all of a sudden they were like, "We're filing bankruptcy or something," and
they filed bankruptcy. We chased money for 2 years, and it just about bankrupt our company.
Yeah. Wow. And was that somebody that finally came to the rescue to help you? Like, was that Kim? Kim Scott?
I think it was Kim. That sounds familiar. Yeah.
Brian, Kim Scott from Disney. She's
connected with Liza.
Yeah, and she's a no-nonsense. She's a no-nonsense woman too. She's like, get these fucking people paid. You know. But it's a challenge because because the same thing has happened to me, and now I've paid people. I got to still pay the people.
Yeah,
I got to still pay your employees.
We had to pay the money out of our pockets. The money out of our pockets. You know, at Christmas.
Yeah.
Right. You know, and it's a slow time to begin with. And, you know, that's another reason that I'm actually pretty happy to be out of, you know, that hustle. Cause, you know, working in the music industry and in the labor industry, there's really is a hustle. It's a constant hustle if it's something that you're going to do full time. Yeah.
And especially the responsibility that you have to the tour manager of the act, who you may have personal relationships with, like Mr. Richter does with so many bands, and only 10 of the 20 show up.
Right.
That,
And
that
there's
thing that you
nothing
don't
that
have-
you can do about
nothing
it.
you can do. Nothing you
Yeah.
can do.
Right.
And that ruins the reputation of the venue because those
Right.
guys on the road are like, fuck, be careful when you go there.
Yeah.
Which then gets back to the manager, which gets back to the
Yep.
agent, which gets back to Larry. And it's like a lot of people to service, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, and there are heads to roll at that point.
Yeah. And I could see why that might be a relaxing position for you to be in now. Like once you are ready to move, you know, the face it, accept it, deal with it, move forward part, right? Like,
yeah.
Right.
Well, you know, the company that I work for now is actually we're producing a show in Oakland, and it was really funny because as you know the coordinator for these shows, I was tasked with finding a labor company.
oh no.
And I giggled.
You're a very
I giggled
unique position
so
for that,
hard.
aren't you?
Very, very
Call
unique
me.
position.
Call me.
I know.
I'll send my best guys up there for
I know
you.
I know all the questions to ask.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it was a good one. I got a good laugh out of it. But
Did you find a labor company?
I did.
Of course you did.
Of course I did. Of course.
I bet for a minute you thought, I wonder if I should put my own together.
I did. I did.
I knew it. I knew
did.
it. Yeah.
But it's you know it's funny because the position that I'm in now, I have so much responsibility over so many shows in so many different states and quite to frankly
Wow.
countries as well, and it's really difficult. I hate saying this, but I don't have the bandwidth to it's like that's one of my least favorite things, but it fits.
I know, but sometimes you got to use it.
I just don't have
true.
the bandwidth to start a company again, and
Yeah.
and quite frankly, to fight that fight that would, I'm sure, inevitably end up
somewhere else, unless you're controlling it all by yourself, and then you're on the phone constantly looking. For people.
Yeah, absolutely.
And in so many cities too, like that's oh my god.
And I think at the end of the day, is that something that you have a passion for? You know, it's one thing to have a business and to generate a revenue, but if you're not super passionate about it and it's just kind of like a side hustle thing, or maybe it's a full-time job, but you know you're working on these tours and doing this thing that you have this more of a passion for, of actually doing the work. It's one thing if you like are die hard, like this is what I want to do.
See, and
I fucking love every second of it, you know?
Yeah, that's the crazy thing is that I was very passionate about it. I was fucking really good at it, and it was easy for me too because I very much enjoy being on stage. I love being hands-on. I love, to be quite honest, I love building a show and telling people what to do, and it's a blast.
The 10-minute changeover between headliner and opening act.
Oh my god, I love that. It's my favorite.
And me, Brian, I'm up on the staircase going up to catering, and there's a platform halfway, and I just watch from a distance. Yeah, man. Yeah.
Oh, it's the best.
It's like a ballet. It really is.
Yeah,
it's like you choreograph a dance, Kate.
It 100% funny enough is choreographed. But
yeah. Because you're like piano first, then this, and this, and this, and this. And not everybody can remember that. So you're like. You're the air traffic controller,
absolutely,
kind of thing, which I
absolutely
I also find fascinating. So the question is, with all these shows that you're doing, do you need any freelancers like me and Brian who are?
I know, right?
Yeah,
come on out.
I'm actually on sabbatical this semester. I don't go back to work till September. So
really,
yeah. So if you need somebody to come and pinch hit for a week somewhere, you let me know.
Yeah, we just might. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
The crazy thing about the company that I'm working for now is they have, just about, I got to say, I don't want to name things because I don't have permission, but the business model of the company that I work for is just amazing. Oh. They've gone in and they rent buildings and they change out all of the shows that they have. So show 1 will be in for 6 months. Show 2 is in for 4 months. Show 3 is in for a year. Show 4 is in. So we do all end up with, good relationships with locals, the, hotels, with vendors, with everything. And we also have our own staff at each one of the venues as well.
Right.
The business model is it's just the coolest thing. And
it sounds cool. And do you go and do location ahead of time? You're like, we're going to go check out this building. Do you get to go and do that part, or is that up to somebody else?
No, I'm strictly production.
Production, gotcha.
Yeah,
gotcha.
that's our operations.
Yeah, but unique spaces are kind of where it's at now. I mean, it seems
it's ramping up even more and more.
Yeah,
the bodies, especially
the bodies took over an old Robinson's May department store in UTC in La Jolla.
Wow.
That's where it was. Yeah.
Really?
And you're like,
That's so
wait,
cool.
yeah, but the Robinson's May is like, fuck yeah, let's rent it, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah, of
absolutely.
course.
A Dark Knight is making nobody any money, you know, but
Right.
so yeah, Kate, let me know if you need some advance work done or anything, you know,
Oh,
just to
absolutely. I
even
definitely will.
say hello. Yeah, yeah. And I'm not expensive anymore.
Oh God. Sure. Right, Jay.
Yeah, I'm
I
actually
bet.
working with Cassie and Kendra. Remember Cassie and Kendra? So I guess they broke away from Richter.
Did they?
I think Larry's just trying to save expenses. But I'm was a recipient of an RFP for the Rancho Mirage Amphitheater in Palm Springs, a community-based 1,200 seat thing, looking for a 5-year plan. And here's a 1-year contract to get them a 5-year plan. So I got emailed this because I am on keyword search, and I go and you look at who else's bidders, and there was 51 bidders, and Casey and Kendra were there.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and I'm like, I'm gonna pass, not because of that, but and then at the 2-week mark, I got a reminder email, and I look at it again, and I'm like, well, it doesn't say it's programming or operating the venue. So suddenly I'm like, this is not bad.
Okay, let's
And
give
then
it a shot.
yeah. But what I did was I said, I don't want to write this whole fucking thing like right now. I don't have the energy, So
Yeah.
I contacted Cassie and Kendra and I said, hey, I bet we make a better bid because of my background and the Greek Theater Project and the programming and city council people and community outreach and putting cleaning programs together for the neighbors. And building stuff, capital improvement, which is part of the RFP. And they are all marketing and brand and I guess Cassie, it was a Kendra that ran Stockton, the arena and like the Fox. I
have to be honest with you. I can never remember which one of them. I know which one is which, but I don't remember which one did which because they were always together.
Yeah, I know. That confused me too.
So
in fact, the other day I didn't know who I was talking to. Because only one of them called me back. But the email came from the other person. And I was like, oh. Anyway. Gosh. Yeah, so that's due in a couple weeks. So
that's great for you. That's great for them as well. That's awesome.
Yeah, sit around. I have some really wacky ideas about how to use the space. I drove out there and took a bunch of pictures. But it's surrounded by a beautiful park that has it's a brand new, but they're celebrating their 25th anniversary. It's really clean. And Rancho Mirage has dough, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I drove around Palm Springs and I'm seeing like car dealerships are big in Palm Springs because of all the old people with money, right? So, but in Palm Springs, it's Chevy, Toyota, Ford. And then you cross a 4-way intersection and you're in Rancho Mirage. And the next block is Rolls-Royce, Aston Martin, a Range Rover, Audi, Porsche.
Yeah,
like that. The demographic.
I lived down there for a minute, and
okay.
Yeah, I did.
Was that did you work at the casino? No.
Yeah, I worked at the casino every once in a while. That's how the person that we're not supposed to be talking about got his job. Was
because of you.
Yes, because of me.
Ungrateful cunt. Sorry, I don't mean that.
I do.
No, I know.
I do.
Brian, and cunt is not a bad word anymore in the LGBT community. Did you know that?
Let me tell you.
They use it in UK all the time.
Yeah.
It's a term of endearment.
Absolutely.
It's become a term of endearment where it used to be like, no, that's you don't go there. But
one of my girlfriends in Australia actually calls me cunt all the time. Yeah.
I'll be darned.
Yeah.
I'll be darned.
I love that.
And now the merch at the gay bars, they're making glasses that say, cunt on.
Oh my God! I'll have to go down and find it. But my girlfriend in Australia just sent me a shirt that says, "I might be a cunt, but I'm a classy cunt."
Oh my gosh, I love that.
I got one in pink and one in purple.
Oh my gosh! So another friend of mine has a business model that he doesn't think is a hit, but he does inflatable. You know how you balloon inflatable animals?
Yeah.
He makes sexual organs out of balloons. The male is easy. The male is easy.
Yeah.
But the female is creative as hell.
Yeah.
Different. And I'm like, dude, you should go down to the bar and like set up a card out in front of the bars down there, especially the lesbian bar.
Oh yeah.
They will buy those in a second.
I did.
No, they won't.
I like the bakeries that have those. They, cot cakes, front cakes. Yeah.
Oh man, we have totally gotten off subject, everybody.
Oh yeah, we totally did. Sorry.
But this is why we call it. This is why we call it backstage banter.
Yeah.
Because
what happens backstage.
We just shoot the shit.
Yeah, that's right.
I am so happy to see you.
You too.
You look happy.
I am. I'm very happy.
You look happy. Since the last time I saw you, I think it was it might have been in the parking lot of the Murphy's Inn, Murphy Suites, and you had just gotten back from doing something with the Roger Water dude, and you were in like you're like not in a good space. I remember, like that was not a good tour. For
I was working on an exhibition. Yeah. It was a really difficult show.
Yeah. And I was telling you that Roger is a part of this music corps. Helping the veterans learn how to play again, after they come back from the Army. So,
well, it's crazy because every exhibition, it doesn't really matter who you work for or who you're working with or whatever. They're difficult. Exhibitions are, especially a
what's
fine
the challenge? Give us a what is different for our listeners who are listening, about, again, crossover skills, right? Like if you can do this, you can do this, you can do this. So what are some of those challenges that you've, in the exhibition?
One of the things that I have noticed the most, I mean, it kind of almost goes back to, when you're on stage and the, tour manager or the tour sends you the stage plot. It's never fucking right. It's always
the writer, the contract.
Yeah, neither's the writer, neither's the contract. The shit's all from like 2-3 years ago. And, though exhibitions are a bit more up to date, I do like the drawings are always wrong, or the meter, the ceilings at X meters and it's supposed to be here, or this wall needs to be moved 2 meters that way, and it's always there's always some type of struggle with exhibitions, just like shows.
And the pace, right? You gotta get that thing in.
Yeah, and that's the other thing too, is the pace is really, really difficult to deal with. Depending on the show that you're with. We have a show that we do that we have like 3.5 weeks to install, and we go into a completely empty building. But those last few days, sometimes you're working 24 hours.
Yeah. And then the fire marshal shows up and fucks everything up.
Oh my God, let me just tell you.
You know that.
Yeah.
You know that.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So let me ask you real quick. So you were talking about traveling internationally too, all over the place. Because Brian and I have had a couple of our international friends on, Miguel and Pavel, and one of the things we talked about was the challenges of language. In different places, if you don't speak the language and don't have an interpreter. And then Brian and I came up with this idea, and we'll black the rest of this out so nobody steals it. But remember, you do the math, and the answer would be on the back.
Yeah.
So what if you needed to say proscenium arch, but you had a picture of it, and you showed it to them, and then you put it in their language.
Right? I gotta say, you know what I do? Google Translate.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have photos. It doesn't have photos.
Hey, Jay, your mic turned off or something.
Am I there?
There you go. Yeah, you're good. Yeah.
Those don't have photos though, unless you put something together.
And also the translation doesn't necessarily translate because in other languages they don't necessarily use that same word. They use a different term for it.
Yeah.
That's one of my friends. He speaks like 5 different languages, and we had him on several weeks ago, and he was like, yeah, in Italian they call it something totally different, and he tried to like translate it from English into Italian, and it like didn't work. And the same thing in Portuguese, and it's like in 3 different languages they call it like the same thing, 3 different things. So
the company that I work for is an international company, and we have our US offices are based out of Atlanta. Everything else is in Brussels and in Rome. So I'm always on a different time schedule. I'm always kind of in a different I'm on anybody else's time. Yeah, absolutely. Almost like at least 50% of the time. It's pretty difficult, but the translation part does get interesting. I will say that. I do like the flashcard kind.
Do you like it? Is it
I think that's kind of cool.
Is it worthy of taking the next step? Right.
I think you should give that a shot.
Yeah. Get something on Etsy.
Yeah.
Something. I don't know. Brian and I come up with these great, wacky ideas, Kate. One of them that is really, we think is going to hit a home run is I've discovered that there's these performing arts management degree programs that are all about the opera and the symphony and all that shit. You can get your master's degree in performing arts management, but no school in the country ever invites rock and roll to the table of a performing arts management degree.
Wow.
Isn't that
not
something?
one.
Thought
It's
about that.
really something. Yeah, and I asked some of my friends at Carnegie Mellon and Cincinnati Conservative Music, and we've had an actual meeting with Boston University because they have a 2-year, four-course, 2-year online MBA that you download it and watch it whenever you want.
Yeah.
You know, 1 hour a week for 8 weeks. And then another one for 8 weeks. So we're like, well, let's talk about like advancing a show as a production manager. You could talk about that for four 1 hour weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Before we knew it, we're like, wait, there's a whole curriculum here.
Yeah.
You know, you can talk about tour managing, and you get our friend Larry. You talk about ticketing, we get our friends. Well, I don't know about Billy and Colleen. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But running a labor, you know, we bring in, you know, my friends like you.
Yeah.
And Boston was actually interested in it to the point where they asked for a proposal.
That's great.
Yeah, yeah. And the guy was skeptical.
It's always theater.
Theater, opera, dance,
Opera,
ballet.
Yeah.
It's a nonprofit. It's how do you beg for money because ticket sales don't
resident
ever make
theater.
enough.
Yeah.
Nonprofit, you know, and house management. But I'm like, look, whether you like Taylor Swift or not, she just fucking killed something. Like, what just happened in the last? She blew up Ticketmaster #1 to the point where Congress had to get together to.
So great. I hate her music. I'm not I'm not a Taylor Swift
But how
music
can you
fan.
not?
What a badass.
What a case study.
badass.
And what a case study, right? There's so many case studies that we have about, you know, things that have happened. Live Nation, and I first off, I got Doug, the head of the Boston program, couldn't find his email anywhere, right? Hard to find. So, Kate, you know me, like think outside the box. I applied for the program online.
So that you could get the email.
Somebody contacted me. They're like, "Hi, I see that you want to take the classes." I go, "Actually, I'm interested in the classes, but how do I talk to Doug, the leader of the program? I have a couple questions." Oh, let me put you through. Boom. And at first he's like skeptical, right? For the first hour, I bring Sting's production manager to the meeting with me via online, John Sanders, who is also director of global touring for Live Nation. And he teaches my Monday afternoon class with me every semester as well. And we've been talking about this because the university system is crashing horribly. And, you know, getting your MBA while you're watching, you know, Golden Girls, you know, I mean, it's like this is what's happening now. So anyway, we by the end of the conversation, John did the closing. I go, "John, what do you have to say?" He goes, "Doug, first off, the biggest nonprofit arts organization that hires people in the country is the Metropolitan Opera. Okay, at any given time, their staff is 150 people. Live Nation is 38,000 employees, and at any given time, there's probably 500 jobs available worldwide if you go to their, you know,
it's true.
Nationwide. I mean, worldwide in offices." And he said, "Doug, I am interviewing people constantly that are coming out of college, and you know what? They're not showing up with the knowledge that I need, and I don't hire them." And this was the killer. He goes, "You are doing your students a disservice by not telling them about this industry. You know, about you want to be an accountant in a fucking cubicle? Cool. Go feel the pressure of settling a Bon Jovi show with Larry Richter, where you got to count $2 million and have it ready by the time he's off stage."
Yeah.
Right. And per diems.
Well, and you know, and that's the shit ass part too, is that like you were saying, you know, with the university system, you know, just in free fall and in collapse right now. Just, I mean, that's a whole nother conversation we could have. I've got a high school senior here, and Jesus.
But they want. I bet she wants to do a certificate program. She probably wants to take some courses and go to work.
Yeah. And that's just it. And but that's the other thing.
People don't want to go to a 4-year degree for shit.
No, because the experience. It's the experience.
Well, not only that, but you don't want to be in a mountain of fucking debt that you're not gonna be able to pay back.
Yes,
like,
exactly.
People want to take what they need to get the job and do what they want. They don't want to necessarily have all this fluff.
Yeah.
Well, you know, and it's funny because I have a degree in early childhood education.
Wow.
Like, you know, and I taught preschool for like 6 months, and I was doing shows after I got off of work.
Yeah, but dealing with preschoolers, you learn how to deal with stagehands.
Oh, absolutely. but that's the whole thing
Not
is I
very
don't have a
far.
degree. I don't have a degree
Yeah.
in, in my profession. I mean,
Kate, I got kicked out of school. I got kicked out of school, and I'm teaching full time, and I don't even have a fucking degree.
Yeah.
But what we're seeing too is the experience, right? And do what you want. You're more inclined to study harder if you're doing something that you want.
That's exactly what I was going to go back to. It was talking about, labor companies and talking about people that aren't freelancers and da 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 da. If you are out and you are working and you're doing a show, whatever, if you work your fucking ass off and you continue to work your fucking ass off, we're going to pick you up.
Yeah.
Right?
We're going to take you.
Absolutely.
And why?
Because you have a work ethic, because you want it, because you want to be in the the industry, because these are the things that you want to do.
Yeah, and the bar is fairly low, right? Because 9 out of 10 of them are not doing that. That you could,
I mean,
some of them, not 9 out of 10, but just you don't have to do a bunch more. You just kind of have to be noticed,
do
right?
Something.
Yeah, someone's always watching.
Somebody is always watching. I mean, and the amount of people, the amount of labor companies that I work with, the amount of people that have even worked for me with labor companies. There are so few people that have any fucks to give whatsoever, and they're just there to say that they worked the show, to do the drugs, to be, Mr. or Mrs. Popular and say that they've done whatever.
Right. And how in relationships in your business, and then we're going to wrap it up here in like 3 minutes. How important are relationships? No, we want to keep going. Fuck my psychiatrist at 4 o'clock. I don't need you. I don't need you. I got my friends.
Right.
Talk to us about the importance of relationships in the stagehand industry, and in the exhibition industry, in your industry in general. When was the last time you actually applied for a job? You know what I mean? Like that.
Oh my God, I couldn't even tell you.
Yeah, exactly.
And, getting into this again, I was working with an exhibition company about 8 or 9 years ago before I went full bore into music and all of that. And when I decided to kind of start stepping back from music, just because I'm getting older, to be quite honest.
Say it isn't so.
I know, and I'm tired, but I had a person that owned an exhibition company, that was part owner in an exhibition company, that's now the COO of this new exhibition company, told the technical director, "You have to have her." And
that's the best.
Yeah, and they said, "Come out on the road with us. We'll try you out." And that was about 2 years ago now.
Yeah, and isn't that referral thing that is
the
gold.
Referrals? It's golden. It's golden. I mean, it really is.
So don't burn bridges. Don't fucking burn bridges, people.
No, never. There's people that I'm working with right now, and one of the labor companies that I'm working with right now that I did work for before I started my own labor company. And, it's just about not burning bridges. You never know when you're going to need somebody, and, you have to stay. You got to be that chameleon.
That's right. That's right. And starting your own labor company, how much of watching others fail made you be like this? I'm not going to do it that right. Like everything that you learn about doing things the right way, you also learn, oh, fuck that. I'm not, whatever that is, I'm not doing it. Right.
You definitely, everything's on the job training.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no college course that you can take. There's not even, I mean,
until now,
Until
when you take the labor course with Kate Poundstone.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, no, I was accepted to Harvard Business School. And I don't have the want or the need or the money, quite honest.
Yes.
Pay for that. And, I mean, why would I do that? I'm successful now, and I have the on-the-job training that I need that, no one at a business school is going to be able to tell me.
And you have you got the right this.
Yeah.
You got the right heart. You know what I mean? Like,
absolutely.
And you have that confidence, which I absolutely, love. I'm going to close with the idea of the cost of an education. This MBA from Boston University, right? To get your master's is only $27,000. Now you think that's a lot of money. Go see what a master's degree at UCSD is to get the same fucking idea.
Yeah.
It's
how much is it?
150.
Fuck. God.
With no coming out of it going, I'm going to be a house manager making $4 an hour.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think that's another one of the disservices, But Larry's going to teach with me. Mike Richter
awesome.
has agreed. John Sanders, Kate Poundstone, not the person that we're not going to be naming anybody.
Yes.
Because you know what, he kind of didn't deal. He wasn't very nice to me at the end. It was kind of weird. Yeah, it's kind of weird.
He just stopped being nice altogether and thought he had the answers.
As soon as he got a kid and got married.
I know.
What happened? Because he's all bit. I don't know. Anyway, let's not end on that note. Yeah. Kate, it's funny. We talk about writers never being correct.
Yes.
Right? There's a full-time job for somebody to sit in an office and ask the question, do I have the updated writer? Right? Like just of every tour that goes out there. But in the writer is the hospitality dressing room requirements. And Kate Poundstone is the rock star coming into our building. What 3 things must Kate have in her dressing room, whether, to eat, a snack, a drink, not a piece of not a furniture, but I guess you could too, right? What the hell?
Yeah. We're going to do, oh my God, that's like, that's the craziest
question. Right? Yeah.
Holy crap.
I've asked for a coffee setup.
Coffee, definitely. We're doing
with
coffee.
A barista. Now, mine came with a barista who was wearing a thong and a Starbucks only, just the apron of the Starbucks. Just standing there, ready for whatever. Give me an espresso, darling.
Darling.
My God.
Right? That's rock star. Yeah.
That is hell. That's definitely rock star.
And I had Tootsie Rolls and I had a rotating carousel of hot pretzels with dippable nacho cheese.
Cheese, yes, that's right.
You know, you see at the fair where it's just like.
I'm gonna say. I will say. I'm gonna do. We're gonna do Pinot. We're gonna do a Pinot Noir.
Pinot Noir. Not from Ironstone.
Not from Ironstone. Their shit went down. It totally went down.
Oh no.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been a while since I've had a wine there that I really like. I'm really into Josh right now. Pinot Noir.
Josh is good. You should try. There's also Chateau Saint Michel. We served it at our wedding.
Oh God, I love Chateau Saint Michel. I was just in
Indian Wells. It's the Indian Wells one.
The Indian Wells one.
Yeah, that's a really good. Yeah. Anyway, so a little wine.
We're gonna do the wine, and you know what? I'm gonna say definitely we're gonna do smoked fish. Smoked fish. Yeah, like smoked salmon, smoked scallops.
Is it already like with a toothpick in it, like ready to go? Or is it just the bottle?
Oh no, we're going carnivore. I want the big ass pieces,
on a nice
big
platter.
Ass pieces.
On
and
ice.
Like even like the candied stuff, like the candied smoked salmon, the lemon herb smoked salmon. We're going all out on this.
Does it taste like fish or does it taste like chicken?
It tastes like fish and it's wonderful.
Is it good? Okay.
So good. But we also need the
salmon
full.
Is amazing.
Yeah, I think we're gonna need some like spreads too and some crackers to go with that. So we're gonna kind of go out and be a little bougie with like the charcuterie. We'll just do the red wine with the charcuterie. And
matched with the correct cheese. Got to get the correct cheese.
You have to have the right cheese. You have to have the right cheese. And room for my friends.
Room for your friends.
Yeah,
that is awesome.
A good setup for my friends.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Comfortable.
That's awesome.
Comfortable. Yeah, I think that's what we're going.
Well, let's all have some salmon, some smoked salmon.
Fucking A, let's do it.
In Kate's honor tonight.
Yes, let's do it.
And maybe a Pinot Grigio. From
Pinot
somewhere.
Noir.
Oh, Pinot Noir. Pinot Grigio is too huffy.
Well, we're doing Pinot Noir because it's still kind of cold outside, but then we're gonna change over to a Sauvignon Blanc or a Pinot Noir.
There you go. That's good summer wine.
Outside.
Nice.
Yes.
Yeah.
And your home is good. You just bought a home, and your happy life, your coupled life, your relationship is good.
Yeah, it's great.
Excellent.
Kids are awesome. Oldest is about to be a senior. We just bought him a car yesterday.
Wow, hell yeah.
What's he want to do when he grows up?
Well, he wanted to work in the industry. I don't know if you ever met him, Jay. He did do a couple shows with us when he was like 14 or 15.
I'll be darned. I don't remember.
Yeah.
But if you ever want to have him connect with us, we're happy to have a conversation.
Definitely.
I'm still mentoring students
straight A student getting, letters from every college under the sun, but we can't. We can't
get the free ride. Hold out for the free ride.
We're holding out.
Yeah. Hold out.
We're definitely holding out. Yeah. Well, one of these days we'll have to talk about women in the industry versus
I want to do that.
And the male dominated.
Yeah,
definitely do that. I would love to have that conversation.
And what could be cool is when we start these online programs, we're probably going to do our first one, kind of on LinkedIn. But one of the things we're going to do is these Saturday afternoon workshops for like a 2 or 3 hour that they pay an extra $199
like a mini
for or
course
something.
kind of thing.
A mini course, yeah, and that I think is a great topic to attract a lot of people.
Yeah, I would love to be a part of that. I don't know that a lot of women would like a lot that I have to say about it, but
it's honest. It's honest.
It's honest.
And a lot of our USAITT students, you know, and stage managers, a female. You know, I mean, that's you know, so addressing all of these things, I think, would be a great. Opportunity to say, well, I'm going to go listen to this free workshop or whatever it is, and maybe get an idea that, well, if I don't do this, but maybe I could do this, like just opening your mind to what else is possible, you know, and I love that about you. So thank you for doing this at the last minute.
Absolutely. It was
thank
so
you
much
so
fun.
much.
I wish we had so much more time. Oh my God.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to come up there and visit you because I can't. Those blue skies and those pine trees.
It's beautiful.
Oh my gosh, you got an extra space? You got a little couch for me?
We got room for you. We do. We have room for you.
I'll wait till it gets to be a little bit warmer.
Yeah.
In my San
like
Diego
75
winter.
today. Yeah.
Oh, perfect. So, all right, Brian, thanks, man.
Thank you,
Thanks,
guys.
Brian. It was
All
nice meeting you.
Likewise.
Yeah.